How do you make business problems disappear? Wrap them in bacon. For business owners, marketing execs, and anyone trying to grow your business, pump your profits, and make more while doing less, welcome to Bacon Wrapped Business with Brad Costanzo. Sizzling hot business advice guaranteed to make you fat. Profits? Every week our chefs will serve you proven recipes for ramping up your revenue. Now here's your host, Brad Costanzo.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is Brad, and we are going to talk about a topic that I've been wanting to cover for quite a while now. If you are doing anything online, if you do internet marketing, digital e-commerce, or do anything to get traffic to your website, you want to pay close attention to this strategy that we're going to talk about today. You see, a few weeks ago, I was interviewing Mike Filsame, and you can hear that interview if you haven't yet at baconwrapbusiness.com/Mike F. Definitely recommend that you go check it out. And I was asking Mike a question around the end of the interview. And I said, Mike, what do you think is an opportunity that most people are not exploiting right now? What do you think, or what do you think is underexploited and that just people aren't doing, but that you believe they will going forward? And his answer was YouTube advertising. He said he's going to be spending a lot of time focusing on YouTube in in 2015, which we're in January of 2015. Now, the thing about YouTube advertising, I guarantee you've seen it. There's a lot of various types of advertising on YouTube. There's the ones in the upper right-hand corner, and there's the ones that show up on the videos, like the little annoying things at the bottom of a video that you kind of got to click to get it off. And then there's the videos the advertisements that play for, several seconds or 30 seconds before you watch the video. And a lot of times, if you're like me and most people, you're sitting there waiting for that little skip ad thing to appear. Well, like a lot of marketers, I have not really used those. I've just seen them as the annoying little videos that are in my way of watching what I want to watch. However, the folks that I've spoken with who have used YouTube in their advertising have said, man, this is like so cheap to get the clicks, and especially if you do it right. Now, the one opinion that I've got that I always see, the videos that come up before I'm about to watch something, a lot of times they come up by big Fortune 500 companies like car companies, insurance companies, and it looks as if it's the exact same video that people throw out on the, from their TV campaign. They put it on YouTube, and it always strikes me as a marketer as missing the mark, because there's a completely different mindset between me and the, when I'm on YouTube and me when I'm on a television. So, I've thought about this, but I've never done anything, and I've never actually talked to a true expert about what the best practices are, and this is where my guest today comes in. So in speaking with Mike Filsame about YouTube advertising, he said, one of the guys you need to talk to about this is Tommy Powers. And Tommy, works with us. We had him on stage. We had him speaking. He's an expert at this stuff. So I started to research Tommy. Mike made an introduction, and Tommy does YouTube advertising and a lot of other services, pay-per-click, digital marketing consultant. He's a specialist in these areas, but it seems as though he's really found a forte with YouTube. He's the author of the the in-stream traffic system, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But he talks about getting 12 cents a click, 676 leads at 39 cents per lead. And he's like, well, what is my big secret? It's YouTube. So that's why I've asked Tommy to join us on Bacon Wrapped Business today, because I can't think of any other strategies that fit this than the show's profile than YouTube and some of the cool stuff you can do with it. So without any further ado, Tommy, are you on the line, brother?
I am here.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, man. I really appreciate this. I'm really curious about this stuff, and we are going to talk about some stuff. I'm going to assume, for the listener's sake, that they know a little bit about advertising and pay-per-click. I don't want to dumb this down to the absolute beginner level because your time and my time is too valuable. I want to get into the really what I call bacon wrapped strategies, the stuff that are so good and sizzling hot that you're like, oh man, I need to be doing that right away, or I need to find somebody to do that for me. So that's why I have you on the show. So let's talk about this. Give me a quick background about, YouTube advertising, how you kind of discovered it and what you've been able to do with it.
Well, actually, and thanks for the introduction and everything. Basically, YouTube really is something I've been looking at for quite some time. However, I didn't really dive into it till about 2012, late 2012. And really, when I started tinkering around, what I realized is that it was a lot like what I was used to. So my background, I kind of got started with traffic, the whole paid traffic stuff, back in like 2007 with Google Display Network. That was where I really made my bones. It's like, and I'm still running. We still do very well running on Google Display. But what happened back then was nobody was really running Google Display. And I'm the kind of guy, it's like when you zig, I zag.
Exactly. I love
Warren
that.
Buffett, that Warren Buffett thing. It's like, I was talking to John Lee Dumas, and he was saying that, he was telling me about the quote Warren Buffett talks about, when others are fearful, be greedy.
Exactly.
When others are greedy, be fearful. And that's the same, approach is when everybody else is doing one thing, I'm doing something else. And so that's really how YouTube kind of, I was like, I knew there was an opportunity there. And finally, when I got to tinkering around with it, I saw that my skills that I already possessed fit perfectly for it. And that's kind of how I got into it and just kind of, it just kind of took off from there.
Beautiful. So tell me about some of the results you've been able to see. I mean, I mentioned a few of the stats that you posted on your website here, but let's talk, first let's talk about some of the results, and then I want to talk about some of the strategies, because there's a lot of folks out there, myself included, for me and my clients, who are going to be focusing on this, and I definitely want to jump into that. But first, let's talk about some of the results you've seen as it compares to other types of advertising out there.
So YouTube is a couple different, ways to kind of tackle it. The in-stream traffic stuff that you're talking about, that's really specific to that, those pesky little pre-roll ads that you got to skip the button in order to, skip ad button. Those are designed that where the way you drive traffic with those is someone actually has to click on that video other than skipping the ad while it's playing. And you can actually send someone to a destination URL, which should be more than likely your website.
Okay. And let's just so that I'm clear and anybody else is clear, this is, I want to go back to fundamentals a little bit. So the types of ads on YouTube, let's just kind of list them. There's are they called in-stream?
In-stream.
Okay, so those are the ones that show up, like you said, that I'm about to watch a video and a video starts playing first, and then after maybe about 5 seconds, the skip ad button shows up. Okay, so that's called
correct.
in-stream. I've also heard of something called, is it
in display?
In display?
Well, True View is what is technically called True View in-stream, I believe.
Okay, so the two are pretty much the same.
Well, they're different.
Okay.
So it used to be 3 types, but now they've made it only 2. So you have in-stream, True View, and then you have in-display. But under the in-display, there are 2 types of in-display ads you can run.
Okay.
You can run one that is targeting people who are watching videos, and that ad will show in the upper right corner next to the video, or it will appear hovered above the video.
But not actually.
It's not really a banner ad, but it'll hover over the video.
Okay, but it's not on the video. Is it hovering over the player, right?
Yeah, it's like it'll like pop up, kind of like the banner ads you see.
Gotcha.
Time to time that come above the video,
know.
The leaderboard looking. It's not exactly that, but it's similar. It's similar to that. Then the other in-display type is where you can target people who are searching on YouTube. So someone's on YouTube search, they type in a phrase, and you can show your ads above the YouTube search results.
Okay, and those are really similar to like the Google pay-per-click style, right?
Right.
Okay.
But they call them in display.
Gotcha.
Targeting search is what the technical way to be able to run those.
Okay, perfect. So in display is either when people are searching or if people are watching, but it's more of a banner and it's not the actual automatic playing video, right?
Exactly.
Okay, great. So that's in display. And then the other type you were talking about in stream.
Right.
And is the TrueView in stream, or is that kind of synonymous, or is there a difference?
No, it's the same. I mean, it's just different names. Some people call them pre-roll ads. Some people call them, in stream is a technical name word that they use for it. But the actual term is, I think, is TrueView in stream. But it's the same. You know, when you see the word in stream, that's what they're talking about.
Perfect. Okay, and those are the ones that I've seen where there's a skip ad. Now, there are some that I've seen which they give you the skip ad, and there's some of them you can't skip the ad. You got to sit there through like 30 seconds or whatever.
That's it.
Is there a difference there? Is it just that?
That's a non-skippable in-stream ad.
Okay,
and
cool.
you can run those. You have to run those through the Google Display network inside of AdWords. So when you're setting up campaigns inside of AdWords, YouTube video ads have its own little. If you ever were to log in, once you run a video ad, you go to the far left hand corner at the very bottom. That's how you get to that. If you want to run a non-skippable ad, you can actually set those up under the regular Google AdWords dashboard for normal Google campaigns to create an unskippable ad. So it's kind of tricky the way they got it set up, but you can run unskippable, and as well as you can run in remarketing like that. They're very powerful, really, for remarketing. A lot of people that run them, in my opinion, like you mentioned at the top of the show, it's like they're kind of off the mark. A lot of the brands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we found the most power in those with remarketing, where someone already are familiar with your brand, and hopefully your listeners probably know what remarketing or retargeting is the same thing, which is a huge catchphrase in the industry.
Right. Let me stop you right there, just in case there's somebody who doesn't. Remarketing is if you ever go to a website and you all of a sudden start seeing those ads for those people everywhere. Well, there's a pixel that is placed on it's a little piece of code that's placed on a website, and it allows the advertiser to kind of follow you around the web. Now, you might think that's a little bit intrusive, but it's really not. It simply shows up if you visited on that browser, if you go to other places like in the Google network or Facebook, it just follows you around, and you'll see this if you go to Amazon. You'll see this if you go to a bunch of different places. We're going to have an entire podcast just on remarketing here really soon. But for anybody who doesn't really know what that is, very, very powerful strategy. And I want to get into how you use that. But you just said something about the most powerful strategy is which one?
With remarketing, the unskippable ads is what we were talking about.
Okay, unskippable with remarketing.
Yes. So if you're remarketing to someone, you can hit them with a non-skippable ad. That way you can get your message across. And they can't be more than 30 seconds.
Right.
The max that they can be is 30 seconds.
Can they be less than 30? Can I do a 10 second?
Yeah, they can be. They have to be at least 15, I believe. 15 to 30.
Perfect. I'm
trying to remember exactly, but what that allows you to do is make sure that you get your message across without them being able to skip, even if they don't want to. Because the reality is, a lot of times, 5 seconds is not enough time to really get their attention. So if you, so that's what we found the most powerful with the non-skippable.
Okay. Now, what about price-wise? Are you going to be paying more? Is there kind of a hierarchy of the cost per click for these?
So you don't buy clicks on YouTube ads. You buy views. And that's where it gets tricky for a lot of people, because it's a different metric that you're measuring in terms of how you want to measure your performance.
Okay.
So what happens is with in-stream ads, you only pay when someone watches your video for a certain amount of time. And that really depends on the length of the video. So you actually can get a free impressions on your video when people click that skip ad button. You don't pay for that.
Nice. So this is one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about. I know Mike and I were talking about this, and I'm glad you say that the time where you get the free view impression or not varies on the length of the video, because I've heard people say it's 10, 15, 30 seconds, and I've been so confused. So let's dive into that. This is, this to me is like wrapped in bacon. So he was talking about, he was given an example of how Ryan Dice, another one of the founders at digitalmarketer.com, is using this for branding, where he said he would – number one, he would remarket, or number two, he would put this on, based upon what they're viewing and saying, hey, this is Ryan. If you want to come to the Traffic and Conversion Summit, click, click right here. If not, click skip ad.
Yep.
And you're getting that impression. You're getting that branding. And if people just go ahead and skip ad, it's free, right?
Right.
Cool.
It doesn't cost you.
Okay. So let's talk about the time, variables there. So typically you have about how long before you get charged?
So the way it works is you have a video that's less than 30 seconds and a video that's longer than 30 seconds.
Okay.
So when your video is less than 30 seconds, if someone doesn't click skip ad, then they charge you for a view.
If they, I'm just kind of jotting this down. If they don't click skip ad,
and the video is less than 30 seconds,
then you pay. Okay.
Yes. If the video is longer than 30 seconds and they don't click skip ad, they only charge you when the person watches at least 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So one of the things that that I think I've also heard, and I think Mike was saying this once more about Ryan, that he would put on there, maybe let's say a minute ad.
Yes.
And then putting the message. The message can be, 15 seconds long, and then it's just dead space for.
That's it. That's it.
See, that right there is YouTube strategy wrapped in really thick bacon, peppered maple bacon, and fried up. See, that's
we're crushing
awesome.
it with that method.
Love
we
that.
Are crushing it. Matter of fact, one of the video direct guy over there, Matt Coleman, he's actually, he and I built a great relationship over. I was actually out there in Austin and met up with him and some other members of the team. But yeah, we shared a lot of strategies with what we're working on and stuff. With each other. So yeah, man, that's a killer method.
That's beautiful. So I want to recap this for any listener. If you're going for branding and you want to get your message across, you can put up, let's just say, a minute-long video, and you get this opportunity to talk, let's just say, for 15 seconds. And if the person watches that, and after 15 seconds, hey, the message is over. It just goes to black screen. What are they going to do? They're going to click skip ad. Well, when they do that, you don't get charged, but you still get your branding, you still get your impression, and you don't pay a penny. I wanted to, that is one of the main things I wanted to talk about. You surprised me with the fact that the most powerful is the unskippable with remarketing, and I definitely want to deep dive into that. But give me 1 second. I got to put my Skype on Do Not Disturb. I kept on getting pinged there.
I do want to clarify something.
Please do.
So here's what I recommend. And on the remarketing thing, when I talk about unskippable, I'm talking about that particular style of ad is most powerful when used in conjunction with remarketing. In-stream ads is where it's at, man. What I recommend is it's not a minute, but maybe like 45 seconds.
Okay.
And then what I recommend is 20 to 25 seconds is your message, because you want to try to, the shorter your message is, the harder to really convey. But ultimately, what you're trying to do within that message is sell the click.
Right. Sell the
You
click
have to
or
get
just
them to take an action. Yes.
right. Sell the click, or if you're just going for branding, just
Then you just right.
But yeah, you're right. And if you can't sell the click in 20 to 25 seconds, you're not trying to sell a product.
Right. That's it.
Okay.
You're selling the click.
Yeah, that's amazing. God, I hope that YouTube does not yank this
I don't think it's going anywhere no time soon.
under
but
us. Yeah.
You never know.
Okay, so when you were when you were talking about the unskippable with remarketing, that's the most powerful for. Is it for?
So the technique of using an unskippable ad is most powerful in conjunction with remarketing.
Okay.
Because with unskippable ads, you pay. When your ad run, you pay. Like there's no way to not pay. So that's why you run that. When you run it as remarketing, you're going to get more bang for it because you guarantee paying because you're targeting people who already have, been to your website, know your brand, know your name, what have you.
Okay.
That makes sense?
That makes perfect sense. Okay. Now, did we already talk about the type of ad that just shows up? Maybe this is in display where maybe 10 seconds in, it's just like a little translucent ad that shows up that you can kill that off. Is that in display or is that something else?
Well, there's two ways to do that. You can run a banner there. That's not an actual, you don't set them up in the YouTube, in the AdWords for video interface. So let's make that clear. You have AdWords and then you have AdWords for video. Okay. And they're actually separate dashboards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you, where do you set all these up? You set these because some people may be familiar with the Google AdWords dashboard, which I'm familiar with before I was banned, like a lot of folks. And then is there a separate place that you go to operate YouTube ads? Where is that? Where do people find that?
It's the AdWords for video. You log into AdWords, but it's a separate dashboard when you create. So if you're first time ever creating a YouTube ad, you won't see the ability to do that. You have to create an ad in the regular AdWords dashboard, like you're creating a campaign, and select online video. And then that will take you into the AdWords for video dashboard. And then anytime after that going forward, you just log into your AdWords account. You go all the way to the left at the very bottom and click on where it says video ad campaigns.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So are there of all these different types of places to advertise on YouTube, are there any of them that you typically don't even mess with? You're like,
I'm really not a fan of search, YouTube targeting search.
Okay. How come?
I have had dismal results. I've had a few decent results, but most of the time, I don't know. It seems like they show. So what happens when I evaluate my data? It's showing my ads on keywords that I did not say I wanted to target.
Interesting.
And so they don't have the ability to do exact match or phrase match. Like you can try to put that in there, but it won't recognize it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like you can put it in there, but it won't use that. And until they fix that, I
not really.
It's not. ROI. I think. Yeah. I mean, you can get an ROI from it. It really depends on if you have a broad mass appeal type of offer, and you're targeting a certain demographic. You could get. I mean, that's how we were able to make it successful. But for most people who really need that targeted traffic, that very specific individual that they're going after, it hasn't really produced a lot of good results for me.
Interesting. So, do you use? Is it mainly the unskippable ads with remarketing and then the in-stream ones like we just talked about?
Actually, we use both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are those your two, like the two big guns right there?
When it comes to remarketing specifically, we like to run in-stream. I mean, you can run in display with remarketing as well. But man, I mean, in-stream that's the biggest opportunity. That's where it's at, man.
I like that.
I mean, unless you, again, if you have a broad mass appeal offer, in display, like there's a thing I show where one of the clients I work with, we spent $250,000 on those ads, paid like 6 cents per view, and the ROI on that was crazy.
Wow! Without telling me what client
appeal offer.
Without telling me what client that is, or can you give me the general market.
It's a diet, weight loss,
Nice.
targeting, that typical demographic.
And they were getting
And
how much per click? Was it per click?
6 cents per view.
6 cents per view. That's crazy.
6 cents per view. So basically, what we were doing, and I'll share this.
Yeah.
They have a VSL, the video sales letter, which is their main method of selling their offer, right? Mm-hmm. We take that and we host it on YouTube, and then we're just buying YouTube ads, buying views from Google to that particular hosted video on YouTube, and then driving those people from that video to order the product.
Okay, so I've always wondered about that. Yeah, I've always wondered about that, but you're actually hosting, and I did this years ago where I had a 20-minute video, a VSL in a business that I owned, and I don't own that anymore, but I was putting it up there, and it literally just said, yeah, if you want to buy this product now, blah, 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 go to, the call to action was simply to go to this website. It was a very specific one that just went straight to the order form. Yep. The only thing I didn't do is any marketing of it, any advertising, any paid. I just kind of threw it up there because, why not? Right. And I didn't do a real good job at tracking it. But that's interesting. Okay, so I want to recap that strategy. You took their VSL. Do you remember how long it was? Like one of these
that
20,
particular
30?
That specific one was 34 minutes.
Okay, cool.
But I had another one that's an hour and 10 minutes. That's still running.
Okay. So you put that up there, but then you were driving traffic inside YouTube to that?
Yep.
So you were using the in-stream?
No, we were using in-display. So here's the thing with in-display. When someone clicks on your in-display, it takes them to your YouTube video that you specify. So if I have a video that I want to get views with, and I want to use in-display to get those views, when they click my in-display ad, that is when you pay. And then it takes them to your YouTube video. Nice.
And the nice part is it keeps them on YouTube.
It keeps them on YouTube.
And just the ecosystem there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think
their guard is down.
Yep. I think that's one of the huge reasons why it works so well.
Right. Now, and is that against any YouTube terms and service that you're not supposed to do
we
that?
haven't had any issues.
That's good.
A couple of my clients that I've worked with have ad reps, so we're pretty safe. I haven't had any problems.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that.
But I would say that it's potentially you could have some issues. One of the nuggets that I'll drop is use an unlisted video. Don't set it to public.
Nice.
Turn off comments on it, and then drive those views. Select what they call the channel page, and then what that allows you to do. You ever been to a main YouTube channel on their main page, and they have a trailer video there?
Yeah, it's like the main one. Yeah.
Well, basically, with these ads, when you sending traffic to the channel page. Basically, what they're doing is they're taking the video you specify that you want to run ads to, and they're pulling that video inside of where that channel is. And it looks like they're on your main channel page.
Right. So that's where you can actually run the VSL. So do that. Bam. Mic drop.
Yes.
You just dropped the microphone. How can I still hear you talking? I love that.
To be honest with you, most of the revenue I've generated to date with YouTube ads have been using that strategy. That was the first technique that I really just blew it up on like multiple six-figure stuff with that technique. And then I got a whiff of in-stream ads, and ever since then I kind of just
focused on those.
I wouldn't say focused. It's just a larger set of my client base and the people that I work with. It's a better fit for them. In display to me really is a method where A, you have a broad mass appeal offer. B, you scared that Google sending traffic to your website, Google is going to slap your page, or they're going to say, we don't like your landing page. So in order to get around that, you just drive them to your video first, and then you send them to your landing page.
Yeah. But
if you can drive traffic directly to your landing page and it's Google compliant, in-stream where you want to be at.
Right.
It's just like it's hands down.
Oh yeah. Man, this is cool. Okay, so so we've talked about the kind of the types of things you can do. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about targeting? Because there's a lot of different ways. Like you just said, the search is not, you're not as big of a fan of that. Remarketing is one, and that is really as simple as, and once more, for my listeners who don't know what this is, we'll totally cover this, but remarketing is, people have visited my website or something else where I've dropped a cookie on their machine and they come back and hello, here's Brad talking to you. So that you're targeting, you don't have to do anything special. You just target your little remarketing audience. Yep. Let's talk about targeting either, the types of videos, and I'll give you an example, right, to make this easier. So one of the examples that Mike Filsame was using, he has a software called Webinar Jam. And he said, if I want to target people who are watching GoToWebinar, who's a competitor, tutorials, I can do that. So he can type, target the types of videos. Can you explain how that might work?
So the way that works is what you want to do is find all of the videos that basically you want to target by videos that rank well for a certain keyword, because really that's really what drives the views on most of those. Either from the Google search, when you search on google.com, there a lot of times they'll display videos that gets a lot of traffic. And then you have videos that rank extremely well. If you're on YouTube itself, you type a keyword in, and the videos that pull up for that particular keyword, that's how a lot of those views are being driven in conjunction with recommended videos.
Right. Okay. So is there and let's use this keyword, for example, GoToWebinar tutorials, right? So there's a keyword. So is there an easy way to do that, or is there a little bit of manual, put in the keyword and then pull up the top 50 videos or whatever?
There's not anything on the market that's free that'll allow you to do that I know of. Mm-hmm. So you would have to do it manually, or there are a couple of tools that you would have to pay for in order to be able to do it.
But that's not that hard to do, because, let's just say you have 10 primary keywords, and you can have an assistant do this. Put in the keyword, both in, you're saying like Google and YouTube, and then pull up, how many would you suggest? The top 20 videos on each one?
Well, so let's clarify something real quick. Cool. What you're talking about is placement targeting.
Yes.
So you're targeting specific video placements.
Okay. Is that what you're recommending, or are you saying there's a different way to do that?
That's what I teach in the in-stream traffic system. But, however, in order to make that model work, you need a ton of placements. So if you're manually doing that, it'll take somebody a long time. Typically, we're doing at least 2,000 to 3,000 placements that we're targeting.
Okay, so that brings up that question I was having. Like, how do you do that? How do you target those placements without doing it manually? Is there a...
Yeah, well, I have a software tool, and then there's another tool I use called V-Roll, which is a monthly subscription. And V-Roll is actually a much better tool than what I have. VRoll.net, you can check them out. That's a much better tool than what I have, and it's more comprehensive. And not only that, V-Roll has a lot of other stuff too, man. And the guy that behind it is Gideon Shalwick.
I know Gideon. I know Gideon really well.
That's Gideon's too. You should have him on, man. You should get him on to further this conversation, because V-Roll is lights out. Like, if you go to this site and you see I actually have a testimony on there and the whole nine. And man, Gideon it's a great tool, man. I love it.
Oh man. So so you use something like that to find a couple thousand
and
videos.
It automates it. Exactly.
Beautiful. Now, and this isn't a big deal at all. I'll just bring it up because it's something I've noticed. Some people, they don't like, if it's really your competitor, they won't monetize their videos, meaning they won't allow you to run ads on there. But a lot of them will, and a lot of marketers are lazy and they forget. I can't tell you how many times I've come across like video sales letters on people's landing pages. You know where I'm going, right? And they're using YouTube to host the video, and an ad for somebody else comes up in the thing.
Yep. During the VSL, it's crazy.
Right. It cracks me up. But cool.
But that's a good point you make, because that's one of the reasons why you need so many placements.
Yep.
Because a good number of them will not be monetized, so your ad would never run on it.
Bingo.
So you just grab as many as relevant, and they need to be relevant, right? Yep. But as many that's relevant, and then you can, if 50% of them run ads on, especially if you're in a market with, and here's another thing too, real quick. It really depends on your market too, because if you have a really, really niche market, the more placements you're going to need. When you have a more broad market, the fewer you can, because you're going to have videos like the beauty niche, for example. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's videos on there that's got, it's insane, so.
Yeah, and I've got, I run the marketing for real estate investment software and training, and that's one of my primary things. And this is one of the areas where real estate investing, there are so many videos on there that have to do with real estate that investors will go to, whether it's training videos or little tutorials or stuff. And I can see just so many opportunities there. Regarding content, like the actual content in the videos, there's a million ways to film videos, whether it's just the little PowerPoint, almost like the ugly VSL style, where it's just the words. There's the talking head. There's animations, calls to action. Are you seeing anything that's more effective than others, or?
In terms of
the actual kind of content or style of the video for these
live action. A real person in there. Not a Fiverr gig. Okay?
Right. Does it help to have like a cute kitten doing something in the background? Because that's what a lot of people go to, go to YouTube.
I don't have any data to support that, but I think it just depends on the brand and the person that you're working with and their audience, right? Because if their audience is into that sort of thing, absolutely. Yeah. So it really just depends on that. But but live action, man, is where it's the best.
Live action, probably keep it poignant. Hey, if you're looking for this and you want that, click here, blah blah blah. Yeah. Awesome. So live action, not like the whole.
But they all work. To be honest with you, I wouldn't break the bank creating that video and doing all of that without testing first. I would do it as simple as possible first to test and see what potential you have, and then you can always go back and improve your video later. You can always improve whatever you're doing later, and I always recommend that the people test things first before you go break the bank, spending all this crazy money doing all of this stuff, only to find out that it's not really even working, and you got way more work to do, even more work to do, and you just drop $5,000 on video and a landing page and all this crazy stuff when you could have just put something, a minimum viable thing up to test.
Right. Well, okay, perfect segue. Because I was going to say, if somebody has never really dove into YouTube advertising, but they have the ability to do all these, they've got a remarketing, the real estate company that we're going to be doing this, we've got remarketing pixels across all the major, everything from Facebook to the Google machine. What would you recommend starting with as opposed to just jumping in and doing all of them? Would you recommend the unskippable with remarketing, or would you recommend the in-stream?
I would recommend to you for that specific situation is to run in-stream remarketing, not the non-skippable, because you need to know what you're getting first. Now, again, if you're branding, and non-skippable remarketing from a branding perspective would be the way to go. But if you're direct response, really ROI driven type stuff, like that's pretty much everything I do. I don't really run branded campaigns. We don't really work with most of our people are direct response ROI driven.
Yep.
So you want to start with in-stream remarketing,
but make it skippable.
To test to see where you're at.
Nice.
And then really non-skippable remarketing comes into play when you're getting traction and you have, especially if you produce content regular or you have a launch that you're doing, or, there's reasons when to use it and when not to be honest. We'd be here all night trying to talk about all of that, but yeah, I would always start out with that. Unless you're a brand, I would start out with the skippable ones first so that you can get some data to kind of determine like what's going on, so you can kind of craft your plan better or optimize the plan that you have.
Dude,
And trust me, real estate crushes. Like,
I can imagine.
I got a couple of clients right now that's doing quite well in the real estate market on YouTube.
Real estate, like agents and stuff, or people who teach real estate investing?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. Matter of fact, my partner in the agency that I work with, Sam Bell, I don't know if you know Sam.
Yeah, I know Sam.
Yeah, Sam and I, we partner up. We got an agency, and he's got a really strong people that, from the real estate, used to do a lot of that. Used to do a lot of real estate stuff, a lot of real estate training and that kind of thing. And so he has a lot of relationships in that world. And naturally that carries over into our client stuff.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about your agent. So first of all, let me say this. This has been one of the most fun and actionable podcast episodes I've done. I've done some awesome ones with like some great high level content and the strategic stuff, but tactically, dude, this is absolutely gold, and people who don't listen to this and put it in action are batshit crazy to me. But I also want to say that this is not, it's not child's play. I mean, if you get in there, you mess around, you can lose money if you don't know what you're doing. And I want to kind of segue into because I want to give back to you. There's two things that you do for people. You've got an agency, you'll do this for them. You also have a course that you teach called the in-stream traffic system, and I'm going to give people a link to the show and the show notes. Just make sure you guys go to the show notes and get all this. But so let's talk about first the course. What can people buy this? And dude, it's only $97. I think you're probably crazy for charging so cheap for this because it can make such a dramatic impact. But are they going to get everything we've talked about and a lot more, like the tutorials and step-by-step walkthroughs?
So break it down. Here's the idea behind the in-stream traffic system. I originally have a flagship product called Video Ads Academy.
Okay, I've heard of that.
But that's closed. It's closed. It's not open to the general public. One of the challenges that I found with Video Ads Academy is a lot of the people that were coming into it, I was overwhelming them with information.
I got you.
Because the amount of information that we're just talking about here on this call, I mean, it's just scratching the surface, right? Because this is what I do. Like, I make a living driving traffic. I've been doing this full time for 7 years. It's how I provide for my family, right? Mm-hmm. So I was overwhelming them, and so many of them were just wanting to know what should I focus on first and foremost. And that is how in-stream traffic system came about, because I realized this is what anybody can do. Once I got into doing in-stream ads a lot, it made me realize, and when we started getting more and more of our clients wanting to do rather than some of the other stuff that we were showing them we were doing, when we started showing them like this will work, straight up, that's when I realized that that was the next thing that I needed to create for them. So I created it for my members. It was very well received and they loved it. And basically I decided to take that and say, I can help more people with this, and I can have a standalone product that's in and of itself a system. And it's strictly focused on in-stream, because that is really where you need to start.
Nice.
And it's step by step. I have checklists. It's everything. Like it's no thinking involved that much. Mm-hmm. Like it's all there. And it's very, very
paint by numbers.
Paint by the numbers. And it's a system.
That's beautiful.
Now again, it doesn't cover all of the stuff that we talked about, but it's because the focus of it is
you don't need all the stuff we talked about.
You don't need all of that yet. If you're just starting out, you want to get your feet wet, this is what you need to be doing. Follow what I'm teaching you.
You said it earlier, minimum viable product. I mean, that's just get going, get the momentum. Exactly. Okay, cool. So now what about, the marketers who are, and business owners who are like, all right, I like this. I don't want to learn it. I want Tommy and his people to do it for me. Tell me about your agency and how you guys work, where they go to find you, etc.
So my partner and I, Sam Bell, we got ppcboutique.com.
Nice. I've heard of that. Yeah. And Sam is a great dude. I've known Sam for years, and I definitely
all they got to do is go there, and there's a free quote form they can fill out, give us information about their business, let them know they heard from Tommy. They heard Tommy talking and they were interested, and we'll take it from there. We'll basically one of us will schedule a call and we'll get on and we'll talk about, their business and if it's a good fit for what we're doing. And we'll be straight up. Like, we don't sugarcoat. We tell you straight like it is. If we don't think you're a good fit, we're going to tell you. Mm-hmm. We're not just going to say, because we're in the business of value exchange. We want to create more value than we receive. And the only way we can do that is by making sure that we're working with people that we really believe we can truly help.
Right. Are there any markets, industries, niches, types of business that you either really prefer and like, or want to avoid at all costs?
Make money online. I don't want to really touch that.
Good or bad? Okay, gotcha.
I mean, other than that, any MLM, we really ain't, that's not kind of something that we really want to do.
I got you.
Unless you own the MLM, then that's another scenario.
Exactly.
Right? But if you just another, because the problem with a lot of that stuff is like it's replicated websites and things of that nature. We're going to have to battle with Google to get you compliant and all of that kind of stuff, that kind of thing. So, right. I mean, we can help people get compliant and that kind of thing. But, some markets, like the MLMs and the make money online, biz op type stuff. It really depends. It really depends on the level of business you really. We don't really work with most of the people that our ideal client. I put it like this: our ideal client is someone who's already buying traffic or someone who has a business that's doing well enough and they realize that they need to be doing this stuff or doing more of it or doing a better job.
Right. I love that. Hey, so I had a thought pop in my head, and this is a case study, or it's like hey, would this work? So my fiance, Kenya, she is a loan officer, mortgage loan officer, and she recently switched over to a new company where she doesn't get as many leads, and she's starting to get out there and just learn all aspects of marketing, internet marketing, and all this other stuff, trying to get out there. And she's actually pretty good on camera. One of the things I was even thinking or looking into, even if it's just in the beginning, because I'm trying to think of, is this a strategy to where she creates a quick little video, and I'm thinking in-stream skippable to where she doesn't necessarily have to pay, just see if it works. So maybe if people are looking at certain real estate videos in San Diego where I live or things like that, if she puts something up there really kind of for branding, like, listen, if you're looking around at, nice houses, I mean, there's tons of realtors put up, the little showcases of their houses, for right. sale in San Diego. I would just imagine that, she could target that and say, hey, if you're looking to buy a house, whenever you're ready, click here. I'm happy to pre-qualify you. And if not, go ahead and skip the ad and get back to watching the home.
There you go.
Do you think that strategy is sound?
It's two ways to tackle that. And yes, that's a sound strategy, and I believe it'll work. What you just described, targeting people who are watching relevant videos, and B, YouTube has something called interest. Well, Google actually has this. This is actually a Google display thing called interest-based targeting.
I've heard of that. I haven't dived into it.
Based on their interest. And Google also, and it has something called in-market segments. Basically, they know enough data about you to know what you're in the market for.
Yeah, big data. Gotta love it.
Absolutely. So you have people that are in the market for a home loan, in the market for credit, lending and those sort of things. I think that would be a killer method for you to do. Only target those people in those segments, those interest segments in your local area, and then run those in-stream ads.
That's beautiful. To get even more ninja-fied and wrapped in bacon, she could say, click here for like your free report or whatever. They click there, and then you drop a retargeting pixel on them, and now they follow you around forever.
Now, and the other part about remarketing, Google calls it remarketing. Everybody calls it retargeting. Google calls it remarketing. It's the same thing.
Apples, oranges. I mean, half dozen.
Exactly. But the thing that I wanted to point out about remarketing on YouTube is you can also remarket to people who have watched your videos. Ooh. So it's two ways to hit them. You can hit people who've watched your videos, and you can target people who've been to your website. So you creating two different remarketing segments. You want to be doing that.
Now, and is that done in like the
AdWords for video is how you create the segment for people who have watched your video.
So for instance, I watch your video, or let's just say you come and you watch my video that I've got up there, and then could I create a remarketing thing, almost like a video too? Now that you know who I am,
exactly.
Oh, dude,
that's why I brought it up,
Tommy.
Because
blowing my mind over here, dude.
So what you do is so we do a lot of segmentation, and this is some really advanced stuff. But when you start talking about segmentation, the average person is probably not going to really leverage that, because when you start segmenting, you need at least like 500 people on a list in order to be able to have that active to target them.
Sure, yeah.
So the more you segment it, those lists are going to be broke out, right? So you need more traffic to make segmentation work. But obviously, some of the people we work with drives a lot of traffic. Mm-hmm. But when you start segmenting, you can segment people who've been to my website, because you create that through Google. You can just create that through regular Google AdWords or from Google Analytics. You can also create a remarketing list within Google Analytics that's on your website. And then you can create a segment. And so your message can be based on the fact that someone watched your video, or the fact that that they've been to your website. And it's even deeper than that, too, in terms of segmentation. But it's like you can target if they watched a specific video, you can hit them with a message related to that. The segmentation stuff is on another level, but it's crazy, man. So
yeah, no, my mind is officially blown with this. I'm standing in front of a whiteboard. That's where I'm taking my notes, and you should. I'll have to send you a picture of this whiteboard, all the scribbles. Dude, so this is amazing, and I'll wrap it up with just kind of a couple questions I'd love to ask folks. But number one, are there, besides this? I actually think you were answering the question that I asked Mike before, but are there any other unexploited opportunities that you see you see coming down the pipe? Is there anything besides what you've told me that you're super excited about, or is this kind of the big focus for 2015 for you?
As it relates to video ads, Facebook. Facebook video ads, in my opinion, are gonna eclipse YouTube at some point. It may happen this year.
You son of a bitch, you just made me want to get you on another podcast episode.
Now, I'm never going to stop running YouTube, because it's a different segment of people that you can reach.
Yeah.
But the beauty of Facebook in and of itself is the fact that the targeting is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's next level.
It's next level. Like, there's nothing nothing ever in history been created like Facebook when it comes to advertising.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, are the Facebook video ads? Because I know Facebook has just recently put a ton of weight behind video, and it's a massive importance for their business. Those are already out there now? The Facebook video ads?
Yes.
Cool. Now, when you say that, are you talking about it's not like the ad on somebody's video? It's actually you are running an ad. The ad itself is a video.
Yes, you run them in people's news feeds and mobile, desktop, or even right-hand side.
Right.
You're running them.
Yep.
But there's a lot of distinct little differences between what you can do on YouTube versus what you can do on Facebook. And what I'm expecting that Facebook eventually is going to do is going to bring a lot of that stuff over that's going to make Facebook just like, it's going to make YouTube be like, because from a targeting perspective, Google cannot touch Facebook.
Yep.
So when they really start throwing their weight behind making their video ads better suited for us to be able to run them, it's going to be lights out, man.
Wow. Now, are you guys managing those for people in your agency?
We are. We're running them. Not a lot of it right now. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of testing and we do a lot of messing around. We always, effing around with stuff, but we expect it to really grow in 2015 because I think this is the year of video ads.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's a hot topic with Facebook throwing all this stuff behind video. Everybody knows why Facebook is throwing everything behind video because they want to go after YouTube, right?
Yep.
And YouTube is a behemoth now, and Google making like 30, whatever it is, like some billions of dollars, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is. They're making a ton of money, and YouTube is their biggest growth sector in terms of advertising.
Yep. And Facebook's nipping at their heels.
They nipping at that. And so because of that, you're going to see people talking about it. It's just going to be high. It's going to be a high alert in terms of because so many people are going to be talking about it. It's going to be on everybody's radar. And that's what is going to, that awareness is going to make people want to do it.
That's awesome. So last question. What nut are you trying to crack in your business right now? And if any, like, so the easy answers are saying, well, I'd like to get more clients or more sales of my product. But are there any other, whether it's resources you're trying to get more of, skills you're trying to get better at, people you're trying to meet, is there any challenge that you're trying to overcome right now that either myself or my listeners could potentially have the answer for you?
Just being able to get more awareness of my brand and who I am and what I bring to the table. One of the things I've lacked in the past has just been that underground guy in the background, doing his thing. And it's like my business has suffered for so long because I really wasn't out there.
You're everybody's best kept secret, right?
I'm trying to be out there. Exactly. But, there's a downside to that is, when you are somebody's best kept secret, they don't want to tell everybody.
Exactly. Well,
everybody get a piece of you. You know what I mean? So,
well, me and the Bacon Nation are telling the world we're going to get you out there, and I've got a handful of people who probably love to interview you as well. And
awesome.
Dude, you seriously, this this is meaty. There's my pun. But awesome. This was fantastic. I may even have a couple referrals for you, for your agency, and okay. I cannot wait for this one to go live. So, everybody listening to this right now, I want you to, if you're on the blog, I want you to leave a comment. Let Tommy, because he can go there and see how much you liked it. You can contact him on the blog as well, and this is going to be at baconwrappedbusiness.com / let's just make it / Tommy, Tommie Powers, Powers. Haven't set it up yet, but that's what it'll be. baconwrappedbusiness.com / Tommy Powers. You'll get the show notes, cheat sheets. You'll get contact information for his agency, for his product, which is so insanely cheap, and it's exactly this. You need to buy it. But leave a comment on there. Tommy can come back. He can see it, and I will as well. Share this with your marketing friends. Talk about it. That's the way we keep Bacon Wrap Business going. Leave reviews on iTunes and send me emails personally. You can always reach me at askbrad@baconwrappedbusiness.com. And if you're one of those idiots who hasn't subscribed on iTunes or, to get it on your podcast app every single time I release a new one, do it. It's the easiest way to get access to this. And, I've said this before. I created this podcast really with me in mind. I joke about this, but my audience is somewhat of an afterthought. And a lot of times that's a suicidal, thought. But I really created this so that I can speak to people like Tommy and other folks that I've mentioned that you've heard on the show and talk about things that I want to know and things that I love with people that I respect and have a lot to offer. So no matter what happens, I'm getting a ton out of this, and you're getting it for free. But I never want you to feel as though it was free. You're sitting in on a very high-level conversation, and now you have the opportunity to apply what you learned, go out there, invest in, whether it's more training or hiring the best of the best, people like Tommy, to do this stuff for you. And the best way you can pay me back is to simply share this. Tommy talked about building his personal brand, and that's one of the things he's doing now. What do you think I'm doing Bacon Wrap Business for? Building my brand. You guys are part of that. I love each and every one of you who's sent me emails, shared this, liked it, reviewed it on iTunes, and I'm going to keep on doing it for both of us, you and me as well. Can't thank you guys enough. Tommy, you've been amazing, dude. I cannot wait to share your name with other people and share this episode with the world. So once more, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, signing off now. Guys, if you've got a problem, send me an email, askbrad@baconwrappedbusiness.com, and we'll see you next time.